Let's now move on the different sources of data that we will be using in solving different statistical problems. There are actually two main sources of data: the primary and the secondary data. The primary data are the data coming from an original source and are intended only to answer specific research questions. Primary data can be taken by face-to-face interview, electronic mails, through online survey forms, or it can be derived from your own experimentation if you are in a laboratory. While secondary data are the data taken from previously recorded data, such as information in research already conducted, different financial statements of multinational companies, government reports on different updates like the reports on the coronavirus we are experiencing right now. This tutorial is very detailed, complete and comprehensive that will let you understand how statistics really works from basic to advanced. Every day in our life, we encounter statistics. Many advertising company uses statistics to know what are the preferences of their customers over their competitors. Statistics is also used to show the quality of products just like the soap and its claim of its 99% ability to kill germs. Statistics is everywhere. There is a lot of applications of statistics in the fields of engineering and sciences, business and management studies, astronomy and the study of everything in space, education of our students, government and politics, financial markets, etc. Statistics is everywhere. It is the future. Data is the new oil. We define statistics as the branch of mathematics that examines and investigates ways to process and analyze the data gathered. Statistics provides procedure in data collection, presentation, organization and interpretation to have meaningful idea that is useful to different decision makers. Let's discuss first the division of statistics. We actually have two general division of statistics: the descriptive statistics and the inferential statistics. Descriptive statistics is the totality of methods and treatments employed in the collection, description and analysis of numerical data. The purpose of a descriptive statistics is to tell something about the particular group of observation. Descriptive statistics involves collecting, summarizing and presenting the data, while inferential statistics is the logical process from sample analysis to a generalization or conclusion about a population. It is also called statistical inference or inductive statistics. Inferential statistics involves drawing conclusions about a population based only on sample data like estimation and hypothesis testing. One of the most basic idea in learning statistics is on differentiating populations from a sample. A population consists all members of the group about which you want to draw a conclusion, while a sample is a portion or part of the population of interest selected for analysis. For example, we have an upcoming election in the United States of America. When we say population, this is the total population of all the American citizens. All, no exemptions. But in election itself, there is a certain qualification for you to be able to vote, and some organizations are having their surveys as a forecast of prediction on who is the best candidate on the election most likely to win, and they are doing this of course with the use of samples. They can only use sample because that is for predicting only not the actual election. That's the difference of population and a sample. Population measures used to describe a population are called parameters, while sample measures computed from sample data are called statistics. Let's now move on the different sources of data that we will be using in solving different statistical problems. There are actually two main sources of data: the primary and the secondary data. The primary data are the data coming from an original source and are intended only to answer specific research questions. Primary data can be taken by face-to-face interview, electronic mails, through online survey forms, or it can be derived from your own experimentation if you are in a laboratory. While secondary data are the data taken from previously recorded data, such as information in research already conducted, different financial statements of multinational companies, government reports on different updates like the reports on the coronavirus we are experiencing right now. Those secondary data can also be taken electronically. There are two major characteristics of objects, people or events that we will be dealing with the study of statistics. And these are the constants and the variables. A constant is a characteristics of objects, people, or events that does not vary. For example, the temperature at which water boils. 100 degrees Celsius is a constant. It does not change. While a variable is a characteristics of objects, people, or events that can take of different values. It can in quantity like the weights and heights of different people, or even in quality like the hair color and race of every people. Variables can be classified in different ways. Here is a chart of the types of data. There are basically two types of random variables yielding two types of data: the qualitative and the quantitative. A qualitative variable is a variable that is conceptualized and analyzed as distinct categories, with no continuum implied. Also termed categorical variable, observations that are put in the same or different classes, each class being considered as possessing some common characteristic that is not shared by those in other classes. Example of qualitative variables are your eye color, the gender, occupation of different persons, and also their religious beliefs and preferences. While a quantitative variable is a variable that is conceptualized and analyzed along a continuum implied. It differs in amount of degree. Also termed as numerical variable, variates that yield frequencies when counted, giving rise to discrete variable, or when measured yield metric or continuous variable. A good example of quantitative variables are height, weight, salary, IQ score, and etc. Variables can be classified into two according to purpose, whether experimental or mathematical. Let's start with the experimental classification. A researcher may classify variables according to the function they serve in the experiment. First, under the experimental classification is the independent variables. These are the variables controlled by the experimenter or the researcher and expected to have an effect on the behavior of the subjects. The independent variable is also called explanatory variable. Second, under the experimental classification is the dependent variable. This is some measure of the behavior of subjects and expected to be influenced by the independent variable. The dependent variable is also called outcome variable. Example of this experimental classification is when predicting the value of fertilizer on the growth of plants. The dependent variable is the growth of the plants. The dependent variable is the growth of the plants, while the independent variable is the amount of fertilizer used. Second classification of variable is the mathematical classification. Variables may also be classified in terms of the mathematical values they may take on within a given interval. First one is the continuous variable, is a variable which can assume any of an infinite number of values and can be associated with points on a continuous line interval. Example of this is the height, weight, and volume. Second, under the mathematical classification is the discrete variable. It is a variable which consists of either a finite number of values or countable number of values. Example of this is the gender, either male or female, college courses, different Olympic games, etc. I think that's it for now. That concludes our video tutorial for today. That is the short introduction to statistics. I hope you learned something from this video. Our next video tutorial will be all about different sampling techniques. If you have some questions to ask, you may comment them below. And if you also want to notice you through shout out, never hesitate to request on the comments section, my trader friend. I will be happy to notice you.